This video will contain spoilers for the entirety of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and especially Xenoblade Chronicles 3. This is your point of no return, so click off now before I make a stupid, offhanded joke that ruins some of the many surprises waiting for you in these games. It should only take about, 160 hours. This is not a full-on comprehensive analysis of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I plan on doing the long-form deep dive into the entire game after the DLC comes out. But if you need to know the short of it, yes, I think the game is exceptional and more than a worthy successor to two of my other favorite games. The game is wonderfully accessible to newcomers. The combat isn't as fun to me as Xenoblade 2's combat is, but it is explained so much better and is customizable with a capital C. There are quality of life features galore, the areas are gigantic and gorgeous as per the usual, and the music is used incredibly effectively, the same as in the previous games. Outside of maybe 2 or 3 big problems, I really do think this game encapsulates Monolithsoft at their very best in many facets, and I could see the game easily pleasing those who tend to heavily favor either Xenoblade 1 or 2 over the other game. A good middle ground, one could say. It functions as a fusion of these two games, but it isn't content to recycle from the previous games and call it a day in either the story or gameplay department. Some of the reused areas have been so heavily altered that I have trouble identifying which areas are even being fused together, and that's a really good thing. I would hate to feel like I'm just playing more of the same, and that's not what Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is. What I think truly made Xenoblade Chronicles 3 hit home for me, however, is the way its themes brought forth a powerful message that life as we live it is of course absolutely not perfect, but there's beauty within it that is always worth living for. There is immeasurable value in a human life. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 takes place in a world corrupt beyond measure. I think it's by far the most dystopian and depressing world brought to life in any of these games. Xenoblade 1 and 2's worlds are obviously depressing in different ways, but never has the opposing force against you felt so oppressive. As much as Mobius's forces end up blending together, the sheer number of them that you have to fight and the number of inhumane things that they're doing to extend their existence creates this feeling that even if you're destroying a lot of flame clocks, it's hard to see an end in sight. Everything about the way most people of Aionios live is sickening. They are in the most literal sense born soldiers first and human beings second, being born at 10 years old and only given 10 terms to live. Of course, by live, I mean fight battle after battle for your respective nation until you either die in battle or you survive long enough to be sent off in a homecoming. It's not a choice for these people. They cannot power their colonies or appease the corrupt cast of consuls unless they murder the opposing nation's soldiers so that their life force can be absorbed into the flame clocks. As previously stated, this is all being perpetuated by the consuls, keeping the world stagnant in a self-centered effort to sustain their own existence and wield power over their pawns, as they call them. Of course, as you reach the end of the game, it's made apparent that our collective fear of the future, the unknown, and the uncertainty beyond the endless now is what fuels Zed and Mobius to hold the world back. But we'll talk about that kind of stuff later. The collateral damage resulting from Mobius's attempt to elongate their lives is front and center throughout the entire game. Dead soldiers from Keves and Agnes can be found in every corner of Aionios, each send-off you do being an additional tang of regret that this is the way the world is, a continual slap of grief waiting for you. It's almost as if the game is punishing you for exploring. Sure, you're getting higher affinity with the colonies, but do you want to continue facing the reality that someone who was never given a choice died here? I suppose it's better than never sending them off, but where other Xenoblade games are usually going, oh yeah, oh my god, look at this world, they made this game on the Snuffin' Wii? How? Oh man, it's the boy, look at my boy! Jesus, this is the best thing I've ever seen! I'm never gonna stop exploring this place! Xenoblade 3 feels like it's saying, yeah, I mean, this is cool and everything, but do you remember Mio's actually, she's gonna die in like 3 months?
3 months. 3 months.
Do you remember how many people you've seen die in the efforts to help you get to Sword Marsh? Do you know that this isn't territorial Rothbart? Who the snuff is that? Get him out of here! That tinge of grief never goes away, as much fun as exploring this world still is. Noah, Uni, Lands, Mio, Taion, and Senna are all thrust into this vicious cycle, but thanks to an oddly familiar face, they're able to rebel against the consuls, able to find a path forward for the people of Aionios to live how they want to live, to give them all a choice. Sound vaguely familiar?
What's important isn't whether you can see the future or not. It's the will to make a choice, and the strength to seize your destiny. Our time has come. Our destiny is our own!
It works here as well as it did back then, but Xenoblade 3's thematic depth became something much more than a rehash of something already said in a former game, and it was made apparent to me in Sword Marsh and the city. Quite frankly, this section of the game is a highlight of the trilogy. A sense of unbridled joy filled my heart going through it, and it wasn't just because the atmosphere was so compelling. Funnily enough, I actually thought the city's daytime theme was some event-specific theme that was building to like a really big story moment, but the music just slaps that hard without even trying. Everything being said by Monica and how the party was learning about life in the city took all of this to a whole other level though. Noah and Mio are Offseers who already hold life's value in high regard, willing to send off even those who are sworn enemies of theirs, believing that just about all life deserves to be honored. And after seeing what life is fully capable of being in the city, it's made ever stronger. They learn about the cycle of life, childbirth, romance, relationships, and every step of it paints a picture of what everyone's life could be if not for Mobius's twisted stranglehold over Aionios. The scene where the party feels the joy of a new life coming into this world, seeing Taion giddily jump at the chance to feel that warmth is unmatched. The voice acting here is incredible.
Let me have a turn. What? This is incredible, Senna.
But beyond all that nonsense like fantastic character chemistry and heartwarming scenes was a newfound appreciation for how much beauty exists in life as we know it. Let's not bullshit ourselves here. Life is hard and it's not fair. I am a cynical shell of a man, as I am unfortunately sure that many of you may also be, but even I felt this unreal alignment with this game and its appreciation for what life is worth living for. The indescribable feeling of caring so deeply for someone you'll do anything for them, the reciprocated love felt in a connection with someone else, the creation of a new life, there's nothing else like it in this universe. Raw emotions, those feelings of warmth, they make it all worth it. I often think to myself that it's bizarre how life even exists at all. We're all taught that new life is formed from previously existing life. We require a predecessor in order to exist at all. Yet the most widely accepted theory as to why our existence began was because of an explosion, something that we all associate with destroying matter around it instead of creating it. How could existence just start? How lucky is it that we were born on what seems like the one planet that we could survive on with all of these natural resources? You could eat the wrong kinds of food and you'd get sick, right? But then our bodies have these systems and functions in place that can make you feel better, that help you recover, and we're just born with that. How fucking bizarre is that? Think of how many things had to happen for you to be alive as you are right now. How many timeline splits could have been made that would have led to a world where you weren't born in it? It's insane. I know, evolution, survival of the fittest, whatever, but how batty is it that we can take so much of this for granted? I'm not saying it's wrong to, by all means, I do it too, but Xenoblade 3 just got me right back into that headspace where the fact that life exists at all is fascinating, and it's beautiful. It really is. A struggle that this trilogy often attempts to grapple with is finding one's identity. What am I here to do? Why am I alive? What is the purpose of my life? Is my life meaningful? All really scary questions that nobody has a concrete answer to at certain points in their life, or at least I don't have the answer to many of those questions right now. At some point, these questions paralyze me. I freak myself out into being a nearly passive force in my own life. I just let a lot of things happen to me. It's all a part of this awful lack of understanding of who I think I really am. I don't really have a dream to work towards, no overarching goal to get me to push myself day in and out, and it makes it hard to wake up feeling as though I have a purpose in this world. It's sometimes terrifying. It often brings forth the scariest questions of all. What is the purpose of my life? Why am I alive? Am I really adding anything valuable to this world? I ask myself similar questions about this channel if I can be upfront with all of you. I love making videos for this channel, truly. It gives me a joy unlike anything else that I do. Getting 30,000 views on my Xenoblade 2 video was something I never thought would happen, something I didn't believe I deserved. Yet my ever-present sense of imposter syndrome always asks me, is my channel really valuable? Think about it, I say to myself. I just talk about my thoughts on video games. I'm not trying to blow someone's mind. I'm not a critic. I don't enjoy critiquing something just for the sake of it. All I really want to do is entertain people and hopefully mold something positive out of my own experiences too. Yet, it's never felt like enough. I seek a concrete answer to the question, one might say. I'm not saying that this is a healthy way to cope with this forever. Every bit of the human experience is so highly unique to each person. I can't pretend to know what's best for everyone. But sometimes I have to get myself to just stop all of it. Stop thinking. Enough of this existential bullshit. Just do this because you want to. When I saw people had watched those videos, people actually saw something that I made, there was that warmth again. There's always this giddy joy festering inside me whenever I'm about to post a new one. That's why I should do it. This is my life. This is seemingly the one pocket of time in which I can be in absolute control of what I do. And here I am wasting it, wondering if putting my thoughts into something that helps me learn more about myself is all a waste of time. How much time has just passed me by while I sit here thinking about doing something I love? Just pondering about if it's worth anything to other people when I know for a fact that it can be. So many others have inspired me to do this. Why do I have to convince myself that they should be able to do it and not me? But then it begins circling back into my wider life. Does it really mean anything? Well, it's a miracle that I'm here at all. So much about my existence shouldn't be possible, but here I am. I'm alive, and I shouldn't waste one more second of this life. I'm here because life is beautiful, and that's worth living on for. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, beyond what I even expected, reminded me of that. Initially, I thought the weakest aspect of this game's narrative was how often by Chapter 6 and onwards, death ceases to have a major consequence at all. Basically, everyone that you see die at one point comes back in some form. Where I think it steps into the realm of being a bit ridiculous, and where I initially thought the game was almost backtracking out of its own commentary, is when you reach Colony Omega, and all of a sudden, Wamba's back, and Hacked, and Kamaravi, and Miyabi. I get that it's yet another twisted Mobius scheme, and I really love the banter between Miyabi and the party, but did we really need to bring back all 4 of these people to the exact same age they were when they died? Did we really need Wamba or Hacked to be in the game at all beyond the first 3 hours? I don't think so, but there's almost something more disgusting about how death isn't an end for somebody unless they're Mobius. Like how Jin insists that Blades losing their memories upon reawakening prevents their culture from evolving, it's something even more severe and actually true in this instance. Rex argues to Jin in that game that
when a person dies, that's it for them. But their thoughts and memories will always be passed on to someone else. Isn't that the same with you, Blades? Your past selves get passed down to someone else to become your new selves? Isn't that how you've always lived? We're no different.
But in Aionios, with how many people die every single day, how short and railroaded everybody's life is, for the average person not born in the city, what memories are there left to honor? This is not living, this is surviving, and even that's stretching it. The highest honor for most of these people who aren't in the know is living long enough to die in a homecoming, living for 10 years. Even if you make it there, who around you is going to survive long enough to be able to carry your legacy onto other people? Then you're reborn, and then what? You're back to square one, and you're probably going to live a similar existence to the one that you just finished. As much as it can feel like death is a non-consequence, I feel as though it's only furthering the oppressive nature of this 10-year lifespan system. Of course, Mio made this message as resonant as it is for me. The entire game has no shortage of reminders that Mio has months left to live, and despite the fact that her life's known length is drilled into her from the moment of her birth, no amount of preparation can get you away from that horrifying fear that your time is almost up. The scene where Noah and Mio argue and then apologize to each other is among one of the best in the trilogy. For one thing, I felt that Noah was kind of too perfect thus far, but the game finally gave him a problem I think anyone could realistically get wrong when talking to someone who's only got a few months left. The exchanging of their flutes, the scenery, and the exploration of Mio's backstory solidified this relationship as one of my favorites in this trilogy. Of course, the anvil hanging above my head the entire game was the fact that Mio was going to die, but would the game have the guts to go through with that? Was it all going to crush my hope that the party could find a way to circumvent the 10-term limit? Is this all payback for bringing back Pyra and Mithra at the end of Xenoblade 2? Was it all building up from that joy that I felt to make me feel a greater anguish by the end of this game? Kinda. But the fact that I'm asking these questions at all only reinforced those themes of life's beauty. As difficult as it was, Mio made the most of her last months, fighting for a cause that she truly believed in. She lived exactly as Miyabi would have wanted her to live. She doesn't want anyone to have to live without the choice that she has. Mio became one of my favorite characters in the series simply by exploring how harrowing that feeling of dread must be. It just so happens that she's also incredibly adorable, basically the center of each of the game's best scenes, and has one of the most fun classes to use. Catgirls are an instant cheat code, I guess. I hope this isn't a sign of some like underlying psychological problem I have festering inside me. This might be a problem. A majority of this portion of the script was written before I experienced this.
Now that you're gone, and yet your love is still embracing me. I'm at a loss, I need you with me. It's like
Xenoblade 2 made me cry tears of joy, hitting home a feeling that I never thought I would experience playing a game. Xenoblade 1 got really close, especially on the Fallen Arm, and Xenoblade 3 sent streams of tears down my face 2 times. I think so far the pattern is if you subtract 1 from the entry number, that's how many times I'm gonna bawl. Of course, the first time I did was when they dropped this nuke of a vocal track on top of probably one of the most fucked up things any villain in this trilogy has done this far, or at least that's just how it feels. They make you sit there and watch as hope completely fades away from all of these people. Even Taion can't stay collected thinking about what's coming. I don't want to say any more about it. It is the best sequence in this game. It's possibly the saddest one in the trilogy. It is the most effective all hope is lost moment I've seen in any game. It's unsettling beyond words. Plus we got another amazing shriek out of Harry McEntire. It also makes way into making N a more sympathetic villain when you understand that he became like this out of fear of losing the one that he cares about. Even if he's obviously gone so far over the line that it drives M to sacrifice herself to get through to him. It's here where I believe Xenoblade 2's themes become way more prominent in the story. As soon as they started talking about living forever in the now, I immediately thought of this line.
No, I don't wish for forever. Even just for one moment. It's enough if it's with her. And yet, what is the man to do who has not been afforded that chance?
I think that serves as an excellent mirror to N's thought process, as well as retroactively makes me appreciate Jin even more. Much like Jin, N lives for the love of his life, someone who's always been taken from him in previous lives. It seems as though he'd never get that chance to live out his days with her alongside him, and the one offer that he gets, he takes with no hesitation. No matter the cost, he'll stay by her forever. I think the most fucked up part about this game is the way this is weaponized against you at the very end. The game is basically going, hey, you have to be okay with this, otherwise you're as bad as Mobius. And like, yeah, but god damn it, how could you want it to end like this? Regardless, the fact that N would be willing to do something as sadistic as what he does to Mio just really hits at home how far gone he is from who he was. It's only once he realizes that he did this to the person he loves that it's even registered to him that what he's doing is wrong. But even beyond all of that stuff, hope becomes such a prominent part of the story from this point on. Much like Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 3 shows what abandoning hope does to someone, how little we resemble our own selves, and how it can make you lose all sense of compassion. N slaughters the people of the city to add more time to his and M's life together. Even if it consists of torturing every other soul in Aionios, even if the world stagnates, at least they're together, right? But stagnating for an eternity isn't living either. M, of course, can barely recognize N anymore, and perpetuating the cycle is something she can no longer take part in. If hope is going to exist in this world, then we have to march forward with the flow. As much as it frightens us, as cruel as time can be to us, we can't progress ourselves, we can't live if we do as N did. It's not wrong to want to savor those relationships, those happy moments, and it's not wrong to look backward and reminisce about those moments and learn from what was done in the past. Again, the game even says it's normal to want these things. It's an innate human instinct. We can and should try as hard as possible to better ourselves, but we're still human beings. We can't alter who we are so fundamentally. It's not healthy to want that either. The ending cutscene shows that it's not unusual to continue feeling that way, even after all Ouroboros learned and accomplished together. But there's a lot to see in this life. Not all good things, but life itself is beautiful because it's finite. And now that the two worlds are free from Mobius, it's not too finite now. They can move forward, they can make their lives whatever they can make them in the time they have. Always cherish what that lesson means, and never forget that your life, despite how indifferent the world can feel towards you, is immeasurably valuable. You deserve a chance to experience those warm and bright feelings for yourself. If nothing else, carry on so you can carve that path to the future you want. I don't know what the future I want looks like either. I think a lot of people don't know. But keep searching. Keep going. We're never gonna find it if we give up. This certainly isn't the last you'll hear from me or Monolithsoft about the world of Aionios, and I eagerly wait as we all witness what the expansion pass has to offer. Until that long-form analysis is complete, however, thank you, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, for bringing to life another vibrant and relatable cast of characters. Thank you for creating another vividly realized world I never want to stop learning about. Thank you for bestowing yet another one of gaming's best soundtracks. Thank you for making me cry again. Thank you for gracing this world with a gorgeous conclusion to this trilogy I hold dear, and thank you, Monolithsoft, for reminding me what being alive really means.
Memories melt in the morning light, and then a new day begins. Roads stretch out before us. So many paths. Which do you choose? That's up to you. Sometimes you might run astray. You'll stop, maybe cry in frustration. But you know, that's all right. For the roads, they go on without end. So look up, face forward, toward your chosen horizon. And just walk on.